Hello, good morning. I want to thank Chileprunes for the invitation to this 8th Online Prunes Expo. We are very happy and want to tell you about this trial we have with Darjan plum trees at super high density with a super efficient system for a full mechanized harvesting. I want some minutes to tell you about Agromillora. It's an international nursery with presence on 5 continents, 32 years of international experience, with commercial relationships with more than 25 countries, 11 branches, and 10 labs. In our country, we have more than 23 years in Chile. We are known in the nursery sector. We are the leader in Chile in the multiplication of cherry rootstocks in the last 15 years with exponential growth, and we are one of the leading actors in the multiplication and sale of vitroclonal rootstocks. How did we start with high density? We started with the olive trees. We realized that olive trees did not change for the last 4,000 years. This photo you can see on the left is from 3-4 years ago. And here there's a plantation of more than 70 years, planted at 8x8. This plantation did not have any mechanization. It was productive, yes, but not very effective. The same for almond trees. They also have been changing in the last 10 years. That picture was in California, 6x6 or say by 7x7 plantations. Very effective regarding resources, the use of light, and in general, agricultural cost during the year. Agromillora looked for these varieties in these olive trees and started the plantation 25 years ago. 5 density, low vigor Avaquina avosana in case of almond trees, with the low vigor rootstock, which make these plantations to be fruit walls, so that they are more effective and much more profitable, and with a better use of the water. The picture above is in Chile, in the Sweat family orchard, with olive trees from the south, 1,400 hectares. The photo below is an almond orchard in Portugal. Now we wonder, why not to do it with plums? Chile is one of the main producers, along with the United States, of Darjan plum. We managed with Andres Schuster in Peralillo to do this high density test, 3.5 by 1.5 plantation, 2,000 plants per hectare, to have this sort of wall, a compact, efficient wall, which makes full use of light and space. This is to try to be efficient in order to have more profitability. Now, what is the super efficient system, or SES? The idea is to plant with the separation of 3 to 3.5 meters between rows and 1 to 1.5 meters between trees, and on a plant that you can see on the left side with the protector that is black on the inside and white on the outside to prevent the basal buds and necked serpents from growing inside, and to prune continuously to form the orchard with no problem, and all nearly 100% mechanized. There is also a small stake, more than 80 to 90 centimeters buried, and with this we make a compact tree with a low center of gravity and a self-supporting plant to harvest with the machine that you can see as a New Holland. But today we have Peleng Greco Oxbow. Now, what is the most interesting features of this system? There is a rootstock, Rootpack 20, which is a low vigor rootstock. For those who know about the subject, it's half the vigor of Mariana 2624, positive characteristics for heavy soils or with high clay content and moisture retainers. Not necessarily could be Rootpack 20. There are trials for large companies making orchards with a Nemagar. High density with low productions. The difficulty is that it is harder to control the vigor of this, but you can do it. The Rootpack 20 rootstock is of low vigor. It's a plum hybrid compatible with Darjan. It is also compatible with almonds, peaches, Japanese and European plum trees. It's very productive. It bears fruits of good size, ideal for density plantation and adapting to heavy soil. It is tolerant to root asphyxia, and for nematodes it is resistant. And also important that in Spain is not evaluated is that in Chile we don't have any experienced damage because of bacterial cancer. I'm going to show you a video on how we started to shape an orchard with manual pruning, and hopefully the first pruning should be manual in order to define the direction of the tree's wall. And it's a very simple pruning. Here we have another video of the second pruning. The machine makes pruning very fast and efficient. This is Andres Schuster, who manages the family orchard and trimmed the entire field with a manual hedge trimmer. That plant is about a year old, and it's very well shaped in our opinion. Now, how to shape the trees. The image above shows a side view of the road, and we're to trim the trees at 50 centimeters above the ground. We have lateral branches, and the ramifications that grows over 30 centimeters is trimmed to 20 centimeters. Then they grow back to 30 centimeters, and we trim to 20 centimeters. And then we have a lateral cut that is made on each side at 10 centimeters to align the plant. Eventually, what we intend to do is to have a fruit wall as efficient as possible and with the greatest number of productive linear meters mathematically. The image below shows the front view. And now that we understand that we shouldn't have more than 70 or 80 centimeters as a maximum in order to have better lighting and making fruit structures, both basal leaves and dots, productive for as long as possible. Now, what are the main objectives of this system? Reduction of harvesting costs, full mechanized continuous harvesting, workforce reduction through total mechanization, improvement into a better production. Today we have the first harvest, so it's almost 7,000 kilos on the third year. And there are some orchards that have reached almost 10,000 kilos on the first harvest. And we are continuously improving without a doubt because we have made some mistakes and we are learning from that. And most likely in the future we will have better productions. It improves the quality of the fruit. While closer it is from the nutrition and water conducts, closer it is to the center of the plant where nutrients and water do not have to travel too many meters to branches. Very far from the center, it receives better quality and water and nutrients. In short, it improves profitability. Now, what are the main factors? Genetic material, low vigor rootstock, dwarfing root pack 20 is easier to control, and to have a diminution of the vigor to keep control all the time. Compatible variety with Dodge and Plum. We have 6 seasons with that, and the plant has behaved well. In this guidance system, pruning is very simple. It's practically all mechanical. Personally, I think the first 2 pruning during the first year should be done manually to generate as many ramifications as possible. And then all the others are mechanical pruning that do not cost more than 40,000 pesos per pass. It is very affordable, I would say. Total mechanization, pruning, handling, and harvesting. Dual purpose orchard. This has been very interesting because at the beginning of this system was made only for agro-industry, but nowadays with the exportation of fresh Chinese fruits, we realized that this pedestrian system, 2.5 meters, we can harvest a large percentage of fruit on foot without any convenience, and that practically makes a second floor to the orchard and to have a greater profitability. And in the end, what we want is to increase profitability. Here we begin planting. That photo is from November 2014. It had already been planted for a few months. We tip the plant and you can see how the laterals grow. The photo on the right shows more growth. And we tip again this growth carefully. This growth so that the plant does not even realize it was pruned. This is summer pruning. Therefore, the more herbaceous the cut, the better. We have also learned that it is better to do more passes within the season. Or for example, if we pass the first day and we cannot prune everything we wanted, 10 days later we pass again and prune the twigs that were not touched before. This is much more efficient and much more profitable and generates a greater number of twigs to prevent the orchard from becoming too thin. This is during autumn winter 2017. We see a plant already well formed with structure. This plant has the branching we wanted to achieve all aligned. And we go to the spring 2017, a very important iconic photo for us, where we can see all the successful system Andres has. Fortunately, he has an orchard for more than 15 years, planted 5x4 with Mariana 26, 24, and Agen. And here we have this small plants looking forward to the horizon, towards the disruptive system we are promoting. Here, February 2018, with the first harvest, we are very happy, very expectant. We had more than 3 kilos per plant. We were able to harvest 6,400 kilos of plums, which gave us 2,133 kilos of prunes, and with an average size 60-70. At that minute we could not record. These are only photos, and the cost of the machine was very cheap because it was a novelty. It charged around 150,000 pesos per hectare. But it gives us some guidelines that this did work. We harvested without a problem, and it gave us a lot of hope to continue evaluating this system with great optimism. We are now on the 4th leaf in the spring 2018 with the great flowering and fruit set. The trees had a good structure with many branches and good blooming, but we realized that the plantation with a separation of 1.5 meters has empty triangles left below that are very difficult to fill. It is very difficult to consider the height of the plants. So that's why we have decided that in order to make plantations much more efficient, we have planted at 3.5 to 1.25 and to fill that space, so we have a higher production. And now we go to December 2018. We have a structurally well-formed tree, but unfortunately we did not prune at the end of March that year, and the trees grew larger with the weight of the fruit. Andres bought a machine in Italy, but did not arrive in time. It arrived in December 2018, and we had to do the pruning, and I will show you in this video. Pruning for elimination of Darjen plum tree, 4th leaf, Peralillo, Chile. This pruning should have been done in March, but due to not having the proper machinery, we waited until now. In general, it's a good pruning with a hedge width of about 1 meter. That pruning meant throwing away a lot of fruit, but a fundamental aspect of this system is the light. If we let the tree express too much, we're going to have two fundamental problems. First, generating spots without light, causing a decline in production. We're going to see with too much wood, and this system is mainly based on the penetration of the light. Another important aspect is the machine. If the trees get too wide, especially with the weight of the fruit, is going to expand, and the machine will not be able to pass or knock down a lot of fruit or break the trees because of the effort in order to penetrate very wide trees. That opportunity was really important. Andres signed a contract with an exporting company, and we harvested fresh fruit. A large percentage, 75% of the orchard, was harvested that way by hand. Unfortunately, it matched the excess of fruit sent that year. He signed a contract for 0.75 frame price, and it was the only thing he was paid, fortunately. I know some cases that had zero return. The production was 21,000 kilos per total hectare. 75% of production was exported. 15,075 kilos per hectare. 50% was caliber 30. 25 was caliber 33. And the remaining fruit was harvested by machine, 5,000 kilos. That became 1,800 kilos after drying. In 2019, and as I said, we made a dual-purpose orchard that was much more profitable and can be much more profitable by allowing us to program and develop this mixed harvest system. Here we have the mechanized harvest of 2019. Due to our past experience, this time the whole orchard was left for harvesting with the over-the-road machine. More than 31,100 kilos per hectare were harvested. The average size was 60-70. We were very happy with that conversion of 2.8. More than 11,000 kilos of prunes were collected, and it was at a much lower cost. Here we can see winter 2019, as you can see, with structural pruning done in advance. Thin trees with extraordinary flowering that made us very high expectations that were met at the end. This is from February 2020 for us, and this is a perfect orchard in the sense that it creates this sufficient fruit wall with correct light penetration, able to keep all the fruit structures comfortable, making photosynthesis in order to have a good production. Here we have a 100% agro-industrial harvest. As I told you, at that time we harvested more than 31,000 kilos, more than 11,100 kilos per hectare of prunes. Damage per fruit made was 2.8%, with a conversion of also 2.8%, which gave us that amount, in addition to 11,000 kilos of the fruit size 60-70 once dried. We moved to the last season. We had rather poor flowering. We thought we had destroyed the orchard with such great productions, but we realized that Santa Cruz area, from the 6th region to the coast, had climate problems of cold and high temperatures during flowering that caused a very uneven floral development, with a very uneven fruit set and obviously with much less fruit. We thought then that we were going to get around 10,000 kilos of fresh fruit per hectare, and we were very disappointed, but we understood that it was a climate issue, and then we saw the fruit set. We felt such relief because we saw a lot of fruit, and in total more than 20,000 kilos per hectare were harvested with a much cheaper and quick harvest. And this coincided, unfortunately, with the rain that we had at the end of January, which affected not only the plum trees but also the entire national fruit industry. We lost 15% of the fruit that fell to the ground, plus another 15% that was measured due to poor flowering. One of the interesting things about this is that Andres has his own side-by-side machine, and he realized that this system, here is a video of the harvest. This system is obviously a big step for fruit growing and mechanical harvesting, but it also has a high cost in labor and bins, in having 2 people in tractors collecting and leaving bins in the rows. And versus here we can see also the transport of bins with fruit to the drying fields, where there is also another tractor which has to have a forklift trained with a turner to be able to dump directly on the chart that will leave the fruit on the drying screens. Then there is a much more not so efficient but rather effective operation of the system, which raises the costs and makes it much more expensive annually. On the other hand, this system with a harvest that is fast, that unloads directly into a cart that will take the fruit to the drying field, make this harvest super simple. This year, with the rain, with the fall of fruit, and I can imagine the pressure the farmers felt to harvest quickly. Today, that harvest was very simple. We harvest in about 1 hour 25 minutes at 3 kilometers per hour. The machine was hitting around 360-400 strokes per minute. It made the harvest very simple, very fast, and less distressing than waiting, like those who do not have a machine, a side-by-side machine, for example, to be waiting for a machine. So it's interesting to have a machine that is about $400 per hectare, much more economic, faster and efficient, and with less personnel. Now we go directly to the cart, and you can see here to put it directly on the drying field. Something very quick, and also at the times of urgency we could also harvest at night, having a well established operation, we could harvest at night without any problem. This is a picture of after harvest, February 2021. I'm going to answer a question that how does it give too much shadow? That photo was taken at 4:29 p.m. And there is a study of many years, and we are today on the parallel 35. That means we are 35 degrees to the south of the equator. Therefore, there is a formula. It is 1.1. It means that if we leave 3 meters between rows, we could have 3.1 meter tall hedges without losing lighting to the lowest parts of the trees. But there are no machines that can harvest at that height, and we can not afford to have trees no taller than 2.5 if rigid, and a total of 2.7 if flexible for the machines at BX 7090 or 1990 that are currently the largest machines available from Holland. These are the ones that can have a tree like that. So no issues with lightning. It's 5 p.m. Full illumination. I'm going to talk very quickly about costs. If you want later, I can send to your emails a complete financial flow of 15 years. The initial investment is about $40,000 per hectare. So obviously, there are more plants per hectare. Therefore, the cost is higher. This amount includes irrigation, soil preparation, and planting. The cost in the first year are $2,030, which cover mainly pruning and fertilization. Cost year 2, $2,030. The cost in year 3 is $3,552. In year 4, $6,661, and year 5, $8,166. From year 3 onwards, we consider 30% for fresh fruit and 30% for dehydrated. The number of trees planted at 3.5 to 1.5 is 2,286 plants per hectare. From year 3 onwards, we have 7,544 kilos collected per hectare, 1,584 for left-right, and 2,263 for export. Therefore, we have a total income of about $295. The following year was almost 20,500 kilos of fresh fruit, and 30% of fresh fruit and 70% dehydrated. It had a utility of 4,298. These are real values. And from year 5 onwards, values are 7,107. This is important. Only $1 was considered per fresh fruit and $1 per dry fruit. Obviously, today prices can be higher than that. And profitability can be higher. These are the financial data. Internal rates of return 24%. This is very high. It's a good project, and being positive, it's a viable project that is interesting, and we have seen it today in the field in a trial of 3 hectares with Andres with all the measurements. This project will probably be the change that we will see in Belgian plum trees in the future, both nationally and internationally. Our conclusions. A quick entry into production, super efficient management. These fields, as I've shown in the pictures, are rapid harvest, rapid management to take the fruit to the drying field. Smart tree plant facilitates handling with the mechanical pruning, easy pruning, and without any deliberation. There is no need to think, just cutting and that's all. Low vigor rootstocks are essential. Belgian plum is perfectly adapted to mechanical pruning. The beginning of trimming and lateral cuts after the first months of planting is very important, as I mentioned in the previous slides. Over the road harvesters, there is no need to buy a machine today. The machine rental, there are many options, and they're all very interesting to expand the universe to harvest, for instance, plums, almonds, white grapes, red grapes, and olive trees. So they are very expectant to see these systems to work well, so that they can have greater profitability with their machines. The system is very efficient, improves efficiency, and the use of fertilizer, water, and phytosanitary treatments. Today, with the carbon footprint, in order to better use the resources, this system is very efficient. We are undertaking an investigation with the University of Concepcion to validate that this system will use at least 30% less water than a traditional system. When there are weather problems during flowering, like summer rains and cloudy days with low temperatures, harvesting 3 times faster at a lower cost can make the difference between successful and failure for this season. These are the words of Andres Schuster, who had both systems implemented. For us, it is important as someone who has been harvesting with traditional system using side by side for years, and this is the opportunity to harvest more efficiently with this over-the-row machine. The dodging plum trees and hedges makes harvesting easy in all cultivation techniques. Compared to existing system, the results obtained, let us evaluate this system with the great optimism and considering the good opinion from producers, and this could be the beginning of a great change in the way of producing dodging plums. That makes us very happy, very motivated, and now we are cooperating with universities like University of Concepcion. We are working to have more information available, and also collaborating with the Davis University based in Chile in order to have more technical arguments to validate the system so that future plantations are certain and have all the information possible. Now I'm going to show you this video, which summarizes everything I have told you about this fall harvest, and I hope you like it. Well, I want to thank the opportunity that Chileprunes has given us in this 8th Expociruelas Secas Online. We are very proud to be able to participate in this important seminar and to tell you about what we have been doing during the last 6 seasons. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon. See you later.